this tutorial we're going to learn how to do some basic moving and rotating of shapes, and we'll learn two different methods of how to do that. So in order to do this, I'm just going to bring in a cone. I'm also going to bring in a, let's bring in, how about a box? There we go. So we got two shapes here. I'm going to select first the cone. So there are two different ways, like I said, two different ways to move objects. So one way is to use your arrow keys to move it in certain directions. So I can press the up key to move it in the positive X direction, or the positive Y direction, or the positive X, negative X, or positive Y, negative Y. So I can use my arrow keys to do that and move it around. You'll notice that the snap right now is at 1 millimeter, which is our unit right now with millimeters. If I wanted to change that to be a larger snap, I could click 5 or even 10 and select my object. And every time I press then the arrow key, when I click on it, it will now snap 10 millimeters at a time every time I press the arrow key. So I'm going to put that back to 1, and I can do the same thing with any 3D object. So whether it's a box or a cone, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to deselect those. Let me show you the next way that you can move and rotate shapes. You can do that by pressing the X, Y, or Z button on your keyboard. So if I want to rotate this object about the X axis, I can click on the X and it will rotate at 45-degree increments around. So at first we have it lined up at a 0-degree angle, and then a 45, 90, and so on, all the way around. If I want to rotate this in the Y direction, I can press the Y key and rotate it in the Y direction. I could press the Z, and I'm pressing it right now, but since this object is symmetrical about the Z axis, you can't really tell any difference. But if I click on the cube and try and rotate that around the Z axis, you can see it more clearly. So there you go, some basics of moving and rotating.